Guys, welcome back to Pierce's Wildlife.
Welcome.
We're on episode 11. We've reached a milestone here.
Yes, we have.
It's been fun. I stopped on the way over here. I stopped by your pond to try and catch a few fish.
Oh.
Every year, about this time of the year, there's been a good one pulled out of there.
Oh, yeah. Did you get one this evening?
No, I didn't even catch one this evening.
I thought it was leading up to a big one.
I sure wasn't. I just
didn't catch the alligator.
No, I didn't. Man, they were jumping all over the top of the water, and I was throwing my norm,
Right.
a red and black Cinco.
Ah, love that worm.
And they were top watering, jumping, flipping. I was like, man, they must be on the top. So I started reeling in on the top, didn't have a bite. And then I threw the popper. I had something hit it twice, but it just didn't connect.
Probably flipping it out of the way more than it was trying to bite it.
Right.
Been on bed.
I don't know. But there's been some good ones pulled out of there for sure.
Definitely.
We had that tournament this weekend.
Yeah, that was a good time.
That was fun.
I actually had a ball.
I did too.
A good time.
Yeah, it was. I mean, what did we end up? Third? Yeah.
About 8 pounds. That wasn't bad.
Wasn't bad. Could have done better.
Yeah.
Missed.
Not enough to win.
Yeah, we missed a few.
Yeah, definitely. Man, I remember putting that line on there. Thought it looked good, but first fish that hit it, snap. Not a good idea. Curry's like, I got your rod in the box over there, Dad. You'll be all right.
Yeah.
That was nice. I appreciate that.
Yeah, no problem. That's always been a fun tournament, though, because it's a local tournament. It's a John boat.
Yep.
You know, there's like,
Electric
10
only.
to 15 boats per day. I've pulled quite a few good ones out of there, but you pulled that giant out that one year.
Yeah.
And it was robbed from you.
Yeah, it was. It was 9.9. It was a good fish, but the story was as the guy had beat me, we took a picture together and you could clearly see my fish was probably a pound and a half, 2 pounds more than what his was, and they had scale problems that day.
Yeah,
so
and they changed scales in between your fish and their fish.
Yeah, they used scales to weigh his fish and a couple other fish, and they said the scales wasn't acting right, so they needed another set of scales because those just weren't kaput. They wouldn't work, and I happened to have mine in my bag, so they used mine to finish the tournament out,
But they had already weighed yours.
They had already weighed his, and then when they weighed mine, they used the bad scale, and they couldn't reweigh it because they'd already thrown the fish back.
Yep.
So
that sucks.
Yeah.
Because in that picture, like when you look at that picture, like
that's right,
your fish is way bigger.
Yeah, you can put your whole fist in the mouth of the one I had, and his wasn't near that size.
No.
Maybe 6 pounds, 7 pounds at the most.
Yeah.
I mean, you fish long enough, you can kind of tell when you look at them.
That was just a bad situation. Or you could have done like that guy in that walleye or whatever, them pike or walleye tournaments up north where he was shoving lead in his belly.
Yeah, I guess he could have done that, honestly. But
I have thought about that. Like before that dude got caught, like I was like, how simple would it be to like drop a couple bullet weights in there?
Yeah. It'd be a pretty good bit of them, though, if you think about it, because they're half-ounce weights.
Yeah, I guess you're right. It'd take a lot.
You'd have to have – they'd be bulging out of his stomach or his mouth or something.
Or he'd be clicking when you're walking with him.
Or maybe the guy was holding the tail, pulling on the bottom of the fish while he was weighing it. I don't know.
Yeah,
yeah, that was funny.
One of them tournaments, she fell out of the boat.
Oh, man. Yeah, that was me and Gabe was actually fishing together on that day. We went out on that tournament. It was really, and me and Gabe, we always have a good time when we go out. And it was
who was I fishing with where I was not? Because y'all fished on my boat.
Yes,
and I don't remember did I fish with Dustin that year?
We fished on Saturday, and y'all fished on Sunday. I believe is what it was.
I was thinking we fished.
Was you on the same day? Do you remember me following you?
Sure. I don't remember seeing it, but I remember the scenario.
Yeah, this is where talking about it's good because it helps to remember some of the things.
I really feel like it was the year that I fished with Dustin because that one year specifically, I didn't fish on my boat.
That was what it was. He brought his boat. Yep. He had a real nice bass boat.
Yep.
And you guys fished in that boat. That's exactly what it was. And
my boat was nice, but no. I mean, it needed some work here and there.
I appreciate you giving it up for old Pop, I've been doing it in a John boat and sitting on a hard aluminum bottom, not even using a chair a couple of times. Just last minute, let's go fish this tournament. Yeah. Of course, we spruced it up a little bit and put a couple of good rotator seats in there and made it comfortable, a little more comfortable.
Right.
But your boat was very comfortable. That was that Bass Tracker 185, wasn't
175.
it? 175.
Yep.
Yeah, it's a nice boat.
But the trolling motor, the rubber bushing in it, it failed. Or no, I lost it. And
you had lost it. Right.
I didn't know what we were going to do, and I don't think you knew that.
No.
And I forgot about it. And so I had put like, oh, you know what? No, I put a little rubber bushing in there.
You did, but it didn't.
It didn't hold.
And every time you step on the throttle, it would twist. The rod would just poof. I mean, the whole trolling motor would shift around.
Right.
And then it was too high. So it was like, I mean, water going everywhere. You get soaked up there on the front. So I loosened it up just a touch to kind of push it down into the water some.
Yep. And that touch wasn't enough to push it easy.
You can just guess what happened. So here I am. I loosened it up just a little bit, and I did not realize there was not that much thread threaded into the base of it. So I let it off a little bit, and I reached and grabbed the top of that thing, and that little rubber bushing that you had stuck in there didn't hold up, and it went flopping into the water, and the trolling motor went to the bottom, and here I go, man. Head first. All I could hear was Gabe laughing in the back, and I dove off, and he said all he could hear was dope. And I fell in the water, and I come out, and it felt like forever coming back up. It was like, oh, God. Man, Gabe's laughing and asking at the same time, are you okay, man? Are you okay? I'm like, I'm fine, man. I lost a crock. He's dying laughing. He said, no, you didn't lose your crock, man. It's up here in the boat. It flipped off your foot and just come flying through the air and landed in the middle of the boat. And I just he was laughing so bad he couldn't even breathe. Oh, it was so funny, man. That was a good time.
I wish I could have been there. Or the GoPros then would have been.
Yeah, a GoPro would have been a great thing. I'm telling you. When I finally and then it was really cold. It was early in the morning, so it was brisk. Here I am trying to climb up in this boat, and this old boat don't have no ladder on the side of it.
It don't.
So I just climbed up in it, and it took all I could to get my fat butt up in that boat. Gabe's grabbing. He's trying to help me up in the boat, but he's laughing so hard he can't hardly help me. It was so funny. And I got up in there, and man, I'm telling you, I like to froze my tail off for about another 30, 45 minutes.
I'm sure. Before it finally got warm.
Before it finally started the sun coming over the trees, and I'm telling you, it was. But we caught a few fish. I was sitting there shaking after that happened.
I'm sure.
I caught 2 or 3 fish and put in the boat. I don't know if we got our limit that day, but.
Oh, man.
That was a funny one, man.
That is funny.
Gabe's asked me about it all the time if he sees me in my Crocs. You got your Crocs? Yeah, might be in the boat. I don't know, but I got them.
And Curtis fell out of the boat one time. He was another one of our buddies that fishes that tournament.
Yeah.
He was setting the hook, though.
Curtis, well, we're from the old school. We like to set the hook.
Yeah.
You know, if the boat don't shake.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? When you're setting it, and everybody better be sitting down or holding on to something because we're going to set the hook. We ain't losing that fish.
Right.
But yeah, so we watched Curtis. He was across the lake. And actually,
me and you were fishing that one.
We were fishing that one together. And all of a sudden you heard a kaboosh. What in the world? And somebody's just bust out laughing. You look over and you see Curtis trying to climb back up in the boat. I don't know how his hat stayed on his head. You remember that? His hat was still on his head. He come up out of the water, that looked like an old slouch hat, and that thing was just dragged down. You can just imagine.
Yeah.
It looked like he had grass and moss up all around it. I don't know how that happened, but that was so funny.
That was so funny.
Yeah. He said, I got him. He still had the daggum fishing rod in his hand, and he was reeling the fish up, hanging off the side. He got the fish, though. I mean,
Oh, my God.
Never give up.
That tournament has produced some pretty vivid memories.
Yeah.
For sure.
Absolutely.
That old man with that kid this weekend, I thought he was going to flip the boat that one time.
Wasn't that
water
funny?
Was right there. from the bottom.
Man,
I'm in the top.
that was that. And we were sitting there fishing, curried. You know how you ease up the boat, ease up the bank, the shoreline or whatever. You coming up, and you just easing up through there, and all of a sudden we see this guy and old man sitting on the front, and this young boy, he's sitting there trolling around, and they just come by, and I mean, we're probably 30, maybe 20, 30 yards off the bank, and we was fishing to the bank, and they just kind of floated right between us. I'm like,
and they never stopped throwing.
No, and they were just talking to us as they was riding by. I thought they was going to pull up and, you know, have a hangout there.
Yeah, I mean, we were not far from the bank. Like, we weren't even casting hard and hitting the bank, and they just pulled right up, just whipping that fluke.
Y'all caught anything yet?
By this point, we had.
We
done caught.
Oh, yeah, we've done caught several brim.
Yeah.
We was brim fishing.
Yeah.
It's a bass tournament. Not really.
We did have them two guys make a joke when I made the joke earlier, and I said, is this a fishing tournament? Is this a bass tournament? And that old boy said, well, if you can win the tournament with 10 brim, I'd like to see you do it. Them boys left early because they weren't catching.
They didn't catch it.
They should have brought some worms, catch some brim.
That was funny.
That was a good tournament, though.
It really was. It was a good tournament. Oh, man, that food was good.
What is Citizens to Promote Pike, right?
Citizens Promote Pike.
And it's John Sells Lake.
John Sells Lake.
It's a good deal if you guys listen to this and want to get into it. It's I think it's like $100 a head or $200 a boat.
Yeah.
So you can fish it by yourself for $200 or with someone for $100 apiece.
They have a Calcutta and a big fish, and every bit of it goes to Citizens to Promote Pike, and it's a good organization.
But you do win money if you win big fish.
Yeah, you still win the money, but a lot of times the guys that'll actually win, they'll donate it right back.
Well, the year I won big fish, I did not donate it back.
Well, you were young.
Yeah. You're right. I was like,
you needed the money. You were dating.
I think I was 20 or 21, but I will never forget. That was the first time I ever won money fishing. And I was like, I can do this.
That is awesome.
But I've not been able to do it since.
Private pond's a little different in those big tournaments on the big lakes and stuff like that. Everything's a little different.
You remember catching your first big fish? And I'm not saying
I remember catching my very first fish.
Okay.
And it was a bass.
All right.
Now, when I say very first bass, let me say that because I did catch some brim. We were bobber fishing a lot. My dad took me catfishing a lot. But my very first bass, I don't know how many times I threw a line, and I wanted to catch a bass so bad. And I could hear my mama calling from across the field. We was on Lake Pond down behind the house.
You talking about over there at Parker Road?
Right off Parker Road. Actually, it's not Parker Road. It's Campground Road. It's actually where the dirt roads are.
Yeah.
Over there. Parker Road is that little short road that cuts through right up here.
Okay. So, well, I didn't know where you were at this point, but
yeah, well, my whole family owned the whole corner there. So my buddy Jeff, that y'all have heard about him in the past, but he lived up on the front of Moon Road there.
Yep.
And then Campground Road right down beside it. That's the dirt road that goes down the hill there. And there's a pond there behind the house. That was man-made. My uncle Dwayne and Aunt Pat made that pond. But behind that was Papa. We called him Papa. But it was Mr. Hughes, and he was my Uncle Dwayne's dad. And he owned every bit of that land, so he had gave some to this family member and saved some to this family member, gave some to this family. So he gave all that land to, several different of the Hugheses and the other family members and stuff. So that's how they went. But anyhow, so he had several ponds out there that he set up, and there was one in the back in the middle of all the property. It was like right in the middle. And there was a creek come down through there. Well, we used to go down there and fish, and Granny and Papa always took and had this big worm bed, and they put compost in it all the time because Granny was always cooking cakes and anything like that. Well, anyhow, so she'd go out and put this stuff in this big worm bed she made, and we'd go out there and we'd just get a little cup full of worms and we'd go fishing. So we'd go down that little pond and we'd fish and catch all kind of little brim and stuff, but I always wanted a bass. I just wanted a bass. You know what I'm saying? It was a big deal. And I remember this old Zebco 33, and I throwed me a worm on there, and I done pulled that thing across that lake I don't know how many times, and I done been in there several times to do it. Well, finally one day Mama was hollering, come on, time to come home. So we're getting ready to go, and I didn't really want to leave because I want one more cast. You know how it is.
Yep,
It's one more cast all the time. I mean, we was doing that in a tournament. So one more cast. So here I am. I'm easing across, and I just like, all right, well, I'm going to pull it in just slow as I can. You know, I'm just finish out this last one. Right before it gets to the shore, something bit that thing, and I snatched back. And next thing you know, I'm pulling in my first bass. I mean, that was awesome.
Cool.
On old Zebco 33.
Yeah.
And, you know, so that was good.
Yeah.
Might not mean a lot to some people, but that story has stuck with me because I wanted that bass, and I got it. You know what I'm saying?
That's cool.
Yeah.
But like when I say like, do you remember your first big fish? I mean like not 1, 2, 3 pounds. I'm talking about like 6 and up, 7 and up.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm sorry. I didn't realize.
No. You
I didn't mean to
right,
throw out that
that's
story.
cool. That's cool information. I'd never even heard that.
Well, there you go.
And I thought I've heard almost every story that you've ever had, but I've never heard that one.
I don't know how many I haven't told you. To be honest with you, we keep talking about them. We're going to come up with them.
Exactly.
But yeah, I guess the very first one I had was that time we went over to Miss Beverly's over there.
That's what I thought it would have been.
I got a brand new fishing rod. Now, I've caught a heap of bass over the years.
Right.
But I want a big one.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So we went over there to Miss Beverly. She let us get in there and swim around. And it was so funny because actually I had this new fishing rod.
You mean fish around.
Yeah, fish. Okay. What did I say?
You said swim around.
Okay.
We weren't swimming.
Well, not on that tournament and not in that fishing time. We've done it before, though.
Yes, we have.
But anyhow, so I got out there and I had this new bait catcher. So anyhow, I got out there and was trying it. I bird nest the crap out of this thing. I couldn't get it set right. And I remember throwing it right into a spot, and I thought, oh, that's a good spot. And then I bird nest it. So I'm sitting here pulling, and I finally get it undone.
Oh, yeah.
And
I remember that.
As soon as I got it, I hadn't even got it completely out of the bird nest. I looked down, and my line was running. I'm like, oh, well.
Yeah.
I started reeling.
Yeah.
I snatched back on that thing. Oof. It was like pulling a cement block.
Yeah.
You know, I'm like, oh, that's a good fish.
Yeah.
I thought maybe even a catfish, you know, at that point. But then he started running across the lake. I'm like, man, what a fish. Somebody grab a net.
Yeah.
We didn't even have a net, I don't think. We was just.
Yeah.
But anyhow, I reached down and pulled that fish up in that out of the water. And man, you talking about a big old smile.
That was a big fish.
That was a big fish. He was probably right about 8 pounds.
Yeah,
he was nice. I got him on the wall.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
That was a big fish. And I'll never forget that day, too, because, man, I fished that day, and I still feel bad to this day, and I've told you in the past, but I was so freaking jealous.
I know, man. I remember when you was upset about that.
Upset, because I done fished this pond, man, probably 5 times a year once. And you go and catch the biggest fish that's ever been pulled out of that lake. And, boy, I was upset.
Well, at that point, we thought it was the biggest fish until that one I pulled out of there was same size as Flint.
Oh, yeah.
Now, that was a monster.
That was a big one. Your buddy Chris, I don't know if you remember, his son pulled a giant out of that pond one time, and they brought it up there to Curry's to show it.
Yes, he did.
You remember that?
I do remember that.
That was a big fish, too.
Man, that was a nice fish.
There's been some big fish.
I want to say it was
there.
probably 8-pound fish.
Yeah. But I guess one thing that kind of made me obviously a little jealous is because, like, you know, I've never caught a big fish. But by
that's
that
exactly
point,
what you told me. You said, I can't believe I fish a lot more than you do. I'm like, man, I done fished years.
But you've been fishing years.
And hadn't caught a fish that size.
But see, now where I am, obviously, with fishing and deer hunting and outdoors and whatnot, and I've got a lot of experience under my belt so far, and I hope to have more, obviously. But
oh, you do great now.
But I've caught some big fish now.
You have caught some
so
big
when
fish.
I see people catching big fish, I don't have to, you know, it's even if they're bigger than my personal best, you know, they're still, it's exciting.
It is. And it's exciting to put them back in the water and know that they're still there.
Well, I guess the past 2 years in a row, them big ones that I pulled out of your pond, those were probably 7 pounds, I'd say, ish.
Yeah, they probably pushing 8 now.
But I put both them fish back.
I know. So they still there.
They still there. They just gotta get caught.
Yeah, man.
Oh my God. I drove the old Toyota today.
Did you?
Yeah. Man, that's a
you
cool
enjoying
truck.
that thing? That's a cool little old truck, man.
to give y'all a little backstory on that truck for a second, I got a 94 Toyota Tacoma automatic.
Which is rare.
Is it a 96 or a 94? You'll understand why I'm not really sure here in a second. But
right.
The long story short of it is when I was 18 or 17, one of the two.
You were
a teenager. No, I had to have been 18 because me and Eden didn't know each other till I was 18-ish.
Right.
My wife now, Eden, well, now as in like I had a previous wife. No, that's not the case. It's been Eden for 13 years now. Her brother totaled this truck.
Yes, he did.
On a tree. And he clobbered it.
Smacked it.
I mean, clobbered it. This whole front end, it should not have been repaired.
By the way, trees don't move.
Trees do not move. Well, my father-in-law now, but at the time, Mr. Kelly was told me that if we fix this truck and y'all stayed together, when I was done with this truck, I'd give it to you. Well, he did.
He did.
This past weekend, he gave it to me because he went and bought him a new Tacoma. And I really lucked out on that deal. I got two great things out of that. I don't know really. I wasn't really sure if I was fixing the truck for the truck or fixing the truck to get brownie points.
I think you were trying to impress your father-in-law.
But I think it was at that point, I'm trying to impress
and you're trying to win
father-in-law to win over Eden.
That's right.
So I really lucked out. I got two killer deals out of that one. That's a cool old truck, man.
It is. It's fun.
That's a good one. When I was first really interested in that truck, I thought it was 22R. Well, 22RE, but it's not. It's 2.4. But it's still a great truck.
Oh, yeah. Fantastic truck. That thing will drive forever, dude.
Oh, yeah.
Can't hardly beat a little Toyota.
And that thing it feels like driving a little go-kart, dude.
Kind of like my little
it's
ST.
Two-wheel like drive. It's low to the ground. Drives good.
Yeah.
I'm like, how fast can I take this around this turn without the front end pushing?
I know. It's not a race car, Curry.
Yeah, I know.
We might be painting it, put a number on the side of it.
Hey, on a serious note, I would love to put a 350 in it, Ford rear end, and then painting it, just a decent paint job, but then having it wrapped like an old 90s model Toyota race truck, like a Craftsman truck.
Oh, yeah.
Putting some wheels on it.
That'd be pretty cool.
Be kind of cool.
Yeah, I think it'd be cool.
I don't know.
I don't know if it'll hold a 350 in front of that truck.
I don't know either, but I'm sure
I had to put some helper springs on it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It needs something, sure enough.
Yep. Sounds fun, though.
Oh, man. I just got through building another AR, I guess about a week ago.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I'm really supposed to say this where people can hear it online, but I'm going to say it anyways. I got through building this AR. I want to see how cheap I could build one.
Mm-hmm.
I've got $260 in a 16-inch AR complete.
Really?
Yep.
That's pretty good.
260. You can I bought the lower for like $39 when it was on sale, the trigger group and all that. It's not like a drop-in trigger. I mean, I bought the whole trigger group and everything was like $50. I found a barrel on sale. I found an upper that was used. I mean, just like little stuff, I wanted to see how cheap I could build one.
Okay, so that's not the one with the chameleon stuff
That's
on it.
No.
That thing's sweet.
That thing is sweet.
Yeah, you got some dollars tied up in that.
Oh,
sure.
Yeah, like that one I will never be able to sell what it's worth. Like I posted it and someone, just because I wasn't going to sell it because it was really custom, like everything on that gun, I ordered it. Like I didn't do it all at once because like just the pistol grip itself was like $200. So like I'm not putting $1,000 here and there. I was putting like 100 or 50 or 200 here and there. But anyways, the point is I posted it for sale and they were like, what's your bottom dollar? And I was like, man, I'm not going to take less than $2,000 for this AR. And
right.
I could have put better stuff in it to make it even worth more than that. But they're like, oh, that's way out of my price range. And I'm like, what was you looking to spend? Like $1,000 on custom AR?
All right.
But anyways, the point of saying that is I was talking to one of my friends who's actually a gun dealer in Griffin. And he was telling me, he was like, and this like transpired today. He was like, well, look, if you can build guns for less than this amount, which was a certain dollar amount, I don't know that I should be saying it online, but I'll tell you later. But which that was like, I'll give you an idea. That was like less than half of what he asked for. So like what I'm getting at is he told me if he could build them for me, talking about as in he'll buy the lowers and put them in his gun,
Right.
and I can just assemble them.
Yeah.
And he can sell ARs to people for like less than $500.
Wow.
Complete ARs.
Doing something you love.
And I love to do it. And I'm like, dude, this is
and you're good at it too.
Right. Yeah, I like
so
doing
you build some high quality.
Right.
And keep it at the
affordable
at the same time.
Exactly, because the thing is, like, when you build an AR, it's not about how much money you spend on it. It is truly about the placement of the springs and the dowel pins. I mean, that's important.
Quality matters.
Right. Mm-hmm. But anyways, it's, just kind of a fun little hobby.
That's right.
It's pretty cool. But Eden, I was telling Eden the other day, I was like, look, I can build these things pretty cheap. I mean, they're not like you got to put a lot of money into them, and it's not like you got to spend the $200 or the $300 all up front. You can buy, like, I just bought a lower. It was $39. I mean, that's cheap. That's lunch for 2 days.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, all right, well, I'm gonna buy the lower. Well, long story short, she got to saying that she was like, you know what? I think I'd want one. I was like, okay. I mean, we have plenty, but
you let her choose her own colors and that type of stuff.
Yeah, exactly. So I was like, so what do you want? Tell me what you want. She was like, I want it black and pink.
I figure you was going to say that.
And I was like, you know what? That would be really cool.
That trucker would probably go over well.
Because black and
it would sell too.
Oh, yeah.
And they'd be more interested, want to shoot it and practice and get better at it. Yeah.
Right.
Probably strike the interest a little more.
Because black and pink really looks good together.
It really does look good.
You remember Melissa Wade's race car?
I was fixing to say, what about that race car?
Man, that was a good-looking race car.
Yes, it was.
If I was a girl, my car would be matte black and pink.
And pink.
But I'm not. So it's camo and black.
Camo and black. Fluorescent orange.
And fluorescent orange. But anyways, I don't know.
That's a fast race car when it's like that.
Yeah.
And you don't see it coming.
Right. A black race car is a fast race car. And then you add camo, they don't even know you're there.
Ain't got a clue.
No.
Until it's gone.
Yep. I don't know. Man.
Good time.
Well, I found this other company talking about building guns. You can also buy Palmetto State Armory is a company. That's actually also a website, but they sell these pistols. Like one of them's called like a dagger or something like that. And one of them's called like a saber. So I can't remember exactly 100% all the different names or what they are, but you can they make like 10 or 15 different slides and like 2 or 3 different lower, the grip part of it.
All right.
A couple different styles of barrels, and each one of them has like ports and like different styles of ports and different color barrels. You can make any color and style pistol you want to like match, if you wanted to match something, or if you want a gold barrel with an all black gun, or if you wanted an upper slide that's green that's got a silver barrel and a black lower. Like, it's just kind of cool because then you can actually see the barrel because it's got these ports on the side. But I don't know. You can build those, I want to say like $500, which is not cheap, especially for a pistol, and it's only a Palmetto State pistol. But
but it's kind of like a Harley. If you want it, you're going to get it.
Yeah,
it doesn't matter.
Exactly. You customize it.
You're going to customize it, make it your own. I mean, that speaks a lot about people's personalities because they probably build it to their personality.
Exactly.
And what they like. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%.
Incorporate it.
It's fun. I mean, I just, I don't know. I just like to tinker. I get that from you, honestly.
Sorry.
Yeah. I don't know. I can't sit still.
I get it. Tinkering's fun, though. I think everybody likes to tinker.
They do.
Yeah.
And you can build an AR. Yeah. Like I build them in my pajamas after I've showered.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not like my hands get dirty and I have to shower because I'm sweating.
Yeah.
It's just a nice little tinker.
Yeah. Speaking of doing something after you shower, Aunt Christy told me today that she got a shower and everything as they were finishing up, and this quick little snippet, and she said that somebody said something about fishing. So she just, all right. She's already had a shower. She jumps out and goes catching fish here. She's got, okay. I mean,
If you really catch them, who cares? You might have to shower again.
You might have
It's
to shower
fine.
again. Who knows?
Yeah.
Or not. I'm
Or
fine
not.
with it on my face. I'm fine with catching fish in it.
Me too. I am too. But I'm
Yeah.
going to tell you, after this past weekend, that tournament, dude, I had blood down my pants because they were swallowing them.
Right.
I mean,
I love it.
I had to change pants.
Well, you couldn't get them a bite. They were so slow to take the bait, man. They just sat there. Yeah. And then finally, by the time you catch them, they've already swallowed the whole thing. So,
Yep. Well, I guess we're going to have to cut this one off.
Okay, then.
Want to thank our sponsor.
That's
We'd like to thank Pierce Wildlife, Hills Tire Store,
Curry's Collision Center.
You guys want to jump on that list and tag along, we sure would appreciate it. We thank you guys for listening, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you so much.
Oh, hey.
And don't forget.
If it makes you shake, don't wait, don't hesitate. Shoot that thing.